Good afternoon. I am Astrid Valdez, and in honor of Women's History Month, we are highlighting women who have made a change in the media industry. Welcome to Women in Power. Today, we are honored in having Stephanie Jennings, Delilah Hernandez, and Valerie de la Rosa, the owners and operators of First Film Media Company. So how are y'all doing today?
Good.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. First off, I would like to congratulate y'all on having such a diverse and team full of women. I know that it's very hard to come by, especially now. So I just want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
Like it's great that y'all have that.
Thank you.
So why don't you tell us about First Media? Like, how did you guys come by it? Like, how did it start?
Who wants to answer that?
I'll start and then you finish.
Sure, yeah.
So basically we actually met in St. John's, and it was a really great experience because as individuals within the film and TV major, we didn't really know each other, but a class project basically brought us together, and it was one of the only class projects that had all women. So in that aspect, we ended up meeting other people, and then it kind of grew. And from then on, we were like, you know what? Like, we work so well together. We're women of color. Like, this feels so right. And that's actually how we started our company. We started our company right here in Marillac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To add to that, it was a class, and we just happened. Well, I already knew Stephanie from prior classes. And Stephanie got chosen to direct a project, and she just chose me to be her DP, and I was like, sure, yeah, whatever. And then Nati jumped on. She's currently in Argentina, but she's usually our DP as well in our projects, but she was in our project for that class. And then Nati brought on Delilah a couple of months later, and I think collectively we were all just kind of angry that we didn't see ourselves in media or in like films that we were watching since we were kids.
Right.
And we decided that we wanted to at first create just a safe space for us as women and
Right.
POC to create our own work, and just share it amongst ourselves. So Delilah would be like, oh, I have an idea for this, and we'd be like, oh my god, that sounds great, let's work on it, like let's do it. And we created that group, but then suddenly it kind of evolved into wanting to uplift other artists who maybe had a story to tell that looked like just like us. We were like, you know what, this sounds crazy, but let's make a company. And it just kind of bloomed literally right after we graduated. We had already signed the paperwork, we were already talking to people were really interested in us, and it just grew from there ever since we graduated. It's been 3 years. Yeah.
And we definitely had a moment where when we were all on set, and we were like, wow, this feels amazing. I started crying. I look over at Valerie, she starts crying. I look over at Nati starts crying. I'm like, why are we crying? But it was just such a great experience to just be on set with a diverse group of women, and women who really care and are really passionate about this industry. So it was really beautiful.
Go ahead.
Sorry, it was like just the simplicity of a conversation that we all didn't realize other people felt the same way.
Right.
And it was with the conversation that came with the realization, like, damn, this is what I was not seeing. I was connecting to this without realizing that I shouldn't have been, because that's not for me in a way. Just like the stories that we were like idolizing, it's like in a way we can never go through that experience, yet that's what we were like hoping for and dreaming for as young women, as little girls. And it's like those type of moments where we realize that it's like we want more than that. We want more than just finding a way to connect to something. We want to be able to just blatantly connect.
So this was spontaneous. Like, did you picture yourself before while y'all were in class that, this was something that was going to happen? Or was it like took you completely out of surprise?
Definitely
by surprise.
Definitely. And I think that's why forming this company has been an emotional and beautiful experience for us, because it's just something that was completely unexpected. And especially going through college, just my experience personally, it was really hard for me to connect with other people and other women. And when I met this amazing group it was just like, wow, like this all makes sense. I love working with them. I love spending time with them, and it just clicked. So it was very, very, very spontaneous, which is why we like all started crying one day.
It was spontaneous that it happened, but for me, it was like, series-wise, I've always known that this is what I wanted. So finding a group of people that wanted it as well, there are a lot of people even now that come to club and maybe want to do journalism or something else. So it was weird for me to find people that actually wanted to be on set, that didn't want to just be like behind the scenes, but on set itself, and that was great. And even after everything formed, I find it funny, I think I told you guys this, that I found a project from like freshman year. It was like a business plan of like me owning my own production company. So the fact that like my senior year it happened, it was like
You manifested it.
yeah.
I know that the media industry is predominantly men. And although it has grown over the years, you know, and we're growing in numbers little by little, have y'all ever experienced like any barriers or any moments that you felt like you had to compete for the spot that you're in now?
I think obviously the pandemic took a year from us. Like, it stole a year of work that we possibly could have done. So technically we've been actively working maybe like 2 years minus that year that was like stolen from us. But definitely after I graduated, it was really hard to find jobs in the media, in like the media industry. Obviously we all kind of started out as PAs, like really low jobs technically. And I feel like not only was I competing with maybe people who like went to a better school or a more well-known school, I felt like I was competing against men who just had a higher privilege than I did, whether it be through a bigger school, a better known school, or just they had more money or the color of their skin. It's just I was constantly just competing with the privilege that comes along with that, because we all know that in this industry you need to know someone who knows someone who knows someone to get in there. And therefore that made my 50 applications that I was sending in a day useless. It didn't matter my experience. It didn't matter how much, it didn't matter that I even had a company. People didn't care. It was because Terry knew Barry and Barry knew Sherry. That's it.
Yep.
And I feel like that was a huge obstacle for me, emotional obstacle for so long, that I couldn't get a job. But I did get a job now. So I mean that was definitely a huge obstacle, at least for me, and I think you guys can relate a little bit to that.
I definitely feel just navigating the industry has been extremely difficult, because I'm the kind of person, if I don't know something, I'm gonna get a book, I'm gonna open it, I'm gonna research, I'm gonna do anything that I didn't learn here. I'm actively going to try my hardest to learn, so I never feel like you don't know anything. So just being on set in general, there's definitely people who might not think that you know as much as you do, or they're surprised that, you know, maybe you're not in production or you're doing this. And I'm a kind of individual, I like to scatter through all departments. So yeah, it's been a journey, of course, but it's definitely rewarding knowing what you know and growing each year and learning as much, especially with these group of women. So,
Well, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate that you took the time out of your day to come here and allow us to interview you.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. For furthermore information on First Film New York City Media Production Company, follow their Instagram page, First Films NYC. You can also find their website at firstfilmsnyc.com. Once again, I'm Astrid Valdez, and thank you for tuning into Women in Power.